Now, because of that incident, I have not got an order to these books. I had them in order of when I bought them, but that's gone. So I'm gonna have to refer to my trusty bullet journal. I don't even know if I got a viable thumbnail there. So if you see a dodgy thumbnail, that's the reason. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm finally doing one of these videos because I've actually got the motivation to do one and the time. So I'm very much looking forward to doing this. I've just got to obviously find time to edit it as well, but we won't think about that now. Today we are going to be doing a book haul, as you can tell by the title, and I was originally today going to film a book haul and an unhaul like in one video, but then I realised I had too many books to haul to then put unhaul books in there as well. So I have 19 to pretty much 20 books here to talk about that I've hauled since May, so across like 5 months, even though I think in the months of June and August I didn't buy or get any books. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I'm filming in this background sitting on my bed because I don't have the effort or the energy to stand up talking about 19 books. So the first book that I want to talk about is Kid, A History of the Future by Sebastian D'Souza. I read this for my most recent This versus That vlog, which I did 2 or 3 months ago. It felt like a long time ago, but it also didn't feel like a long time ago because I haven't read much since because I've been in a massive reading slump. But this is a chunky sci-fi slash dystopian sort of book, and it is set in the year of 2078, where we're following this kid called Kid. His real name is Josh, but everyone calls him Kid, when he finds an iPhone and is able to communicate with somebody in the present day, and through that he's going to try and like help his situation and help his world right now, because his world right now isn't great. I'm not going to go into matters depth about a lot of these plots because A, not all of them I've read, or barely any of them I've read, and B, we don't want to be here forever. I ended up giving this book like 3 stars. It was not as good as I wanted it to be. I was really excited for it and really hoped that I would like it, but it just didn't hit the mark for me. I didn't love it as much as I hoped I was going to, and if you want to hear my full thoughts, that vlog is linked in the description below for you guys to check out. So the next book I'm going to talk about is one that I picked up in a charity shop, and is one that everyone and their mother has read, and I think it's getting a TV show or some sort of adaptation, and that is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I don't know too much about this book apart from that it's set in the 60s, I think. Yeah, I think it says the 60s on the back of here, and it follows this kind of like so-called marsh girl. That's her nickname, and I don't know if she comes from a cult or something. It might not be that, or she just lives somewhere quite remote and that's why she's known as the marsh girl, because I think of where she lives, and I don't know much else apart from that, but I've heard really great things about this book and I'm just very excited to dive into it at some point. The next book I picked up, I also picked up in a charity shop, and that is Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, a story of justice and redemption. This was adapted into a film with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx in it, and I really want to see that film, but I thought I also want to read the book first. I'm not sure, I could do either way round, I'm not really sure, but this is a non-fiction book, and I think it's about a black lawyer helping this black man who's on trial for like murder or something when he obviously clearly didn't do it. It's a non-fiction book about the injustice towards black men and black people within the criminal justice system that I have just been wanting to read for a while, and I saw it in a charity shop, so I thought I'd pick it up. The next book that I picked up is one that I picked up around the time that it came out, which shows how long ago I bought this book, and I have read it, and that's Heartstopper. What did I just say? Heartstopper. I can't remember what I said, but it didn't sound like Heartstopper. But Heartstopper Volume 4. I love the Heartstopper graphic novel series so much. So obviously I picked this up when it came out, and I read it and I gave it 5 stars, and it's beautiful, it's perfect. We love Nick and Charlie, we love this series, we cannot wait for the Netflix TV show. The next book that I picked up once again was in a charity shop, and that is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This is an OG BookTube fave. One that I would see on BookTube back in like 2013, 2014. And I have very vague memories of what this is about. It might be a girl called Mara Dyer, and I think it's about something about her waking up somewhere and she's not got any memories. And isn't there a character called like Noah Shaw or something that everyone's obsessed with? I don't know. It's an old BookTube fave that I feel like I need to read. And I saw it in a charity shop, so I was like, sure, why not? The next 2 books I'm going to talk about together because they are by the same author, even if they're not in the same series. And that is Two Can Keep a Secret and One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. These are 2 like YA murder slash mystery slash thriller sort of books. So if you want like your murder mystery thriller fix, but you don't want it to be as serious or as deep as like adult thrillers, I think these are your shout. I think this one has been created into a TV show, because I think this is the one about like 5 kids who go into detention and then only like 4 of them come out or something like that. They've both got sprayed edges, they were cheap. We love to see it. The next book I picked up, I've been searching for this for so long in a charity shop because I've been buying these books in a charity shop because it's a series that I've been rereading, and that is Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. I have read all 3 of the Twilight books, or reread all the Twilight books recently, so obviously I need to reread Breaking Dawn at some point. Twilight I really enjoyed. New Moon was okay. Eclipse drove me insane. Didn't really like that book. I'm low-key terrified to read Breaking Dawn because I don't think I fully read it when I was like in year 7, so when I was like 11 years old. In a sense, I'm both rereading and reading for the first time this book. And I'm very worried because Eclipse let me down. I got so bored of Eclipse and so angry during Eclipse, and I'm hoping Breaking Dawn isn't as bad as Eclipse. The next book that I picked up, I saw this in a charity shop and saw it for 50p. This is why this is such a steal. I just picked this up straight away because it is a thriller, mystery, horror-y sort of book by a very popular author, or a very popular author within that genre, and a book that quite a lot of people have read. And I saw it in hardback for 50p, and I thought, yes. And that is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. As I said, Ruth Ware has written a lot of books that I feel like a lot of people have read. You've got The Woman in Cabin 10. Is this the one that's the retelling of The Turn of the Screw, or is that a different one? But there are other books that loads of people have read of Ruth Ware's, and I have been meaning to kind of get into her books, and when I saw this I was like, perfect, 50p. And the last book that I picked up in May, yes, all of these I picked up in May, is once again one that I saw in a charity shop and one that I've been meaning to read for a while, and that is Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is a book written in verse, and there's only been one other book that I've read in verse, and that is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. And I liked that book, I really did like that book, but I wasn't vibing 100% with the poetry style. It took me a while to get into it, and the whole poetry style is just not my thing because I've never got on with poetry. This one I feel like could be the same as The Poet X in the sense that I won't love it as much as everyone else because it's written in verse, but in terms of the story and the message, I think I'll really enjoy it. So this book literally spans like a minute, which is insane, and it's about a boy who is getting into an elevator to go and kill the person he thinks, or I think did kill his brother. So he's like avenging his brother's death, and it takes place while he's in the lift going up the building that he's going to find this person, and it's about like all his thoughts and all the people like he meets in the lift. Insane concept, insane execution. I'm very excited to read it. It's not that long, seeing as it is meant to span like a minute. Now moving on to July, I have 3 books I'm going to talk about collectively here because I got all of these in a, it's not an official little free library, but it's like a little one in my area that's not an actual little free library, but it's pretty much a little free library because it's a little free, look, it's just a little kind of bird box looking thing on the wall which, you know, people can take and leave books, but it's not like an official registered little free library. And I got 3 books at one point here. So 2 of them are by the same author, and that is Sharp Objects and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, obviously the author of Gone Girl. I didn't love Gone Girl. Gone Girl annoys me, and I will to this day hate on that book because it annoyed me. I enjoyed it so much, and then when we got to the end, there was no plot twist, and it all just felt like a scam to me. Not going to talk about it. But I'm hoping maybe these 2 won't be such a disappointment to me. And the other book that I picked up, I was at first hesitant because I was like, am I actually going to read this? But I will, because I will force myself to, and that is Hamlet by William Shakespeare, because I want to get into Shakespeare, I want to be intellectual like the rest of you guys. And I saw this for free, so I thought, what's the harm? Let's get it. I feel like I'm one of those rare people who never studied Hamlet at school, has never seen Hamlet, so I genuinely don't know what Hamlet is about. Come for me, because I know Hamlet is like the most popular, or one of the most popular Shakespeare books, or Shakespeare plays. But I bet you if it's anything like Shakespeare's other plays, other stories, it will have death, and it will have mystery, and it will have conflicted characters, and that's what we love about Shakespeare. Final 3 books that I bought in the month of July, I got these all in a charity shop that were across the road from me and the hotel I was staying in when I went to London at the end of July. I missed that trip. I want to go back because it was one of the best trips to London ever, because I went to see 2 plays, I was just living my best life. We're not going to talk about it because I'll cry. I'm so happy with these purchases, especially one of them. And it's the first one I'm going to talk about because I cannot believe I got this. And that is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Ever since this started making its round on BookTube, ever since people started talking about this, I've been so excited to read this and been wanting to read it so badly because it just sounds like perfection. Follows these group of women who have a little like book club. I assume it's in like the South of America, and it's about them having like a little book club, and you know, they read their books, they talk about them. I think they might read like vampire books and stuff like that, and then one day when like a mysterious stranger joins their book club, they're like, I think this person might be a vampire. And then with people like dying or like going missing in their town, they're like, I think it's a vampire. And I think it might be Steve to like just join our club. But I think it was Olivia over on Olivia Reads a Latte. She talked about the kind of like social commentary this book has in it, and I kind of completely forgot what it was, but it sounded really deep and really interesting and something that I didn't expect from this book. So when I get to reading this book, hopefully I can pick that up and be like, oh, deep. I'm so glad I found this. I found this for... Okay, it was £3.50, which is quite expensive for a charity shop, but I was in London. Another book that I picked up in that charity shop was The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. Once again, a very classic thriller. Don't know if it's got murder in it, but a kind of thriller book that loads of people love. Based in Chelsea in London, a baby's awake in a cart, and then actually in the kitchen, 3 dead decomposing bodies are there. So basically, there are people dead in this house and no one knows. And the last book that I picked up in this charity shop was Final Girls by Riley Sager. I have another Riley Sager book down there on my TBR shelf. I think it's Lock Every Door. It's Lock Every Door. But out of all of Riley Sager's books, I think this is the one that I've been wanting to read the most because it's about final girls. Love the final girls trope. I'm a sucker for like 70s, 80s original final girls horror films. So I'm talking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm talking Halloween. I'm talking those films. But if I remember rightly, it follows a bunch of final girls. So the girls who in the past have been the final girls in different separate deaths and all that sort of stuff. And I think maybe then someone is coming after these final girls. That's July done. I don't think I bought anything in August, I'm correct. So now we're moving on to September. And I bought all 3 of these books when I was away in Stratford-upon-Avon, which was a great trip. I vlogged it, linked in the description below. The first 2 books I bought at Shakespeare's birthplace because of course when in Stratford-upon-Avon you've got to go see the bard. So I bought Julius Caesar and Romeo and Juliet because once again I want to get into Shakespeare, and as I mentioned in that vlog, these are 2 of the books that Shannon over 155 books says are good. Well, actually no, she said this one was good for starting to get into Shakespeare, and Romeo and Juliet is just one that I've wanted to read because I love the story of Romeo and Juliet. Also these 2 are in the same edition as my Hamlet. Oh my god, no. I've really just realised I thought they were the same edition, but they're not. They are, but they're all Penguin classics. But as you can see, these 2 are in orange writing. Orange writing. This one's in white. Gosh darn it. They're not the same. But then they are. But then they're not. But then they are. They're all Penguin classics, but they're just slightly different. That is so depressing. They all look similar, but just if you study them more, they're not. And the other book that I picked up in a charity shop in Stratford-upon-Avon, and that is The Whisper Man by Alex North. I saw this, questioned if it was on my TBR on Goodreads. It was, so I bought it. What I know about this book is that it's set in like a village or a town or something that has a legend or a history of this person called the Whisper Man, and maybe it's got something to do with like kids go missing and dying. I'm not sure if that's exactly correct. That is it for my not long in terms of like length of this video because I actually haven't been filming for that long, but long in terms of how many books there are. I don't think I've hauled this many books for a long time. I think because I don't usually do it over such a long period of time, but I thought easing myself back into BookTube, I'd film a book haul with all of these books. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, any of your opinions on them. This has low-key motivated me to go read, so I'm going to go read. But if you're new around here, do not forget to subscribe. All my social media links are linked in the description below. And with that all said and done, I'll see you all in my next video.